Man, to be honest with y'all, to be honest with you, I wasn't even gonna do a review out here. It's fucking hot, bro. Like in the state of Georgia, it's literally, I think the weatherman said 9 million degrees. You know what I'm saying? But it's 4th of July, which I'm not really celebrating for no particular reason. All I see is a day off in the middle of the week to sit, smoke cigars, and drink scotch. Maybe grill a few burgers and dogs and chickens. So when I say dogs, I mean hot dogs, not like actual dogs. But I'm assuming that my very limited audience isn't that stupid to assume that I would grill actual canines. Anyway, it's Whiskey Wonder, and it's fucking hot. It's 4th of July, and I'm sitting on my back porch. As you can see, got that grill going, right? That fucking Weber's smoking. I got some, what's in there? Right now I've got some burgers, some Gouda cheese, smoked Gouda cheeseburger patties going in that bitch right now. With peach wood. That shit sound good, right? Anyway, so I'm not sure if I reviewed this scotch before. And if I haven't, I'm sorry. And if I have, well, you know, my tastes change often. So what I'm doing today is this one. Magnus Highland Park. This is like my 4th bottle of the Magnus. I'm gonna tell you why. Not because it's super fucking delicious. Not only that, but because it's cheap. It's like $40 a bottle. So this is like my 4th or 5th bottle. I got this one yesterday. It's almost empty, I think. As you can see, the bottle is completely blacked out. I don't know how much scotch is left in this bottle. Enough to get me through July 4th, I'm assuming. My first cigar of the day is this Primerano, which is from Chogui Cigars. This one is out of the Dominican Republic. Very, very impossible to find in the States. So when it finally made it stateside, I had to get some. Here we are today. It's not. I'm not smoking it because it's a holiday. I'm smoking it because it's been resting for a year, and it was time for me to smoke it. So there you go. Anyway, back to the scotch. Magnus Highland Park, not to be confused with Highland Park 12-year. Unlike the 12-year, Highland Park's Magnus doesn't even give you an age on it. I've read some reviews. There's something about Orkney, peat, barley, stuff like that. There's like this whole storyline about the founder of Highland Park being a direct descendant of the Vikings, which is, you know, when I think of Vikings, I think of Thor and Leif Erikson. But there's no age listed on the Highland Park Magnus. So I have no idea how old it is. Not that it fucking matters to me, because like I said, or like you guys have seen, I've tried the Lagavulin 8 and the Lagavulin 16, and the 8 tastes better than the 16, in my opinion. So we have the Magnus from Highland Park, which does not taste as good as the 12-year, but it holds its own. And you know what's funny is they both cost about the same thing, around $39.99. It's a great pour. I've been drinking it for the last hour and a half. Yes, an hour and a half. There's that color on it. It's like a pale gold color. It's got some really, really nice legs on it. I'll let you guys watch that. There it is. But it's good. Let me see. It's a soft smoky. It's not hard like Lafroig, which I like. It's not hard like Smokehead, which I bought another bottle of that recently, and I changed my mind about it. It's a really good peaty scotch. But it's subtle. It's very subtle. It's only 40% or yeah, 40% alcohol by volume, which puts it at about 80 proof, which makes it a little bit watery on the palate. You see the color and all that shit. Like I said, it's a wispy smoke, meaning it's very light. It's a very light smoke. But nonetheless, the smoke is there. I love smoke. Highland Park says here on the back, unapologetically bold, smoky, and undeniably Orcadian. The single malt bears the soul of our Viking ancestors and the name of just one, our founder, Magnus Jönsson. Enjoy a whiskey crafted in the old way by a new generation of Vikings. SKAAL. I'm not sure what that means. I'm pretty sure it's kind of like cheers. There's the bottle. Like I said, you can't even see through it. It's completely blacked out. So the only time that you know that you're done with the bottle is when you go to pour that shit out. But I went a little further because I've reviewed the Highland Park 12. I'm not sure if I did the Magnus yet, and if I haven't, but now I have. So there's that. Here, check this out. While I picked up the Magnus, I noticed that there was this little bitty bottle of Highland Park Origins. And it's, I had to get it because I wanted to try it. So, what I did was, I spent $10 on this little bottle so that I could do this fucking review for you guys. You're welcome. This is Highland Park Dark Origins. Alright. Look at that color. It's a lot darker than the Magnus. I don't know much about the Dark Origins. I didn't read about the Dark Origin. All I know is that it's darker. I don't know. Again, with this one, there's no age description on it. You have Highland Park 15, 12, 18, and so forth and so on. I'm quickly becoming a Highland Park fan. Like I said, this is like my third or fourth bottle of the Magnus. Not just because of the taste, but because of the price point. It's $39.99. With tax in Georgia, I'm looking at about $42 for a really good bottle. This Highland Park Dark Origins was a $10 purchase. And this one sits at 46.8% alcohol by volume. See that shit right there? Yeah. So this is gonna be, and I can tell by the color, it's gonna be a little bit heavier on the palate than the Magnus was. Now, if you've never had the 12, I do recommend getting the 12. The 12 is really fucking good. You guys know that I'm a huge fan of Islay. Where's my focus, motherfucker? Tell you what, let me take this out of frame. Put that. Hey, buddy. I'm a huge fan of Islay Scotch because of all the smokiness, but because this Highland Park is not Islay, I second guessed it a little bit. But my friends over at Etch and Sketch some months back sent me one of those small bottles of the 12, and I fell in love with it. It was amazing. I actually did a review on it. So I'm quickly becoming a Highland Park fan. Now, Dark Origin. Let's look at the legs walk. It's a nice little slow trickle down. See that? Looks good. Dried fruit, a little citrus. Not a whole lot of smoke, which concerns me because I like smoke. But the alcohol is there. All right. Okay. So I'm trying to decide how to describe this in comparison to the Magnus. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Say you're on the beach, the love of your life is down the beach. She comes running or he comes running, and you guys are getting ready to do that whole Hollywood movie dramatic fucking embrace, you know what I'm saying, where you just like, oh, and then you go to spin them around and you're in love and skip down the beach, right? And your person weighs like 90 pounds, right? Easy to spin them around and grab them up in the air. Oh, okay, that's Magnus. All right. The the Dark Origins is, say your girl a little thick, right? And she running down the beach looking good in a little two piece, whatever. And she go to you, she jumps in, he or she jumps in your arms, and if I'm sorry, but if you got a he that's jumping in your arms, ladies, then I ain't even gonna judge you. But they jump in your arms, and the rotations of the spin ain't as many times, and a little vein pop up in your head because they a little thicker, which is no problem. I love thick. So that would be the Dark Origins. We're talking about fucking 40, we're talking about 6.8% more alcohol by volume. So however much that is however much that fucking is. Because it doesn't tell me right out how much that is proof-wise. Anyway, Highland Park Dark Origin. Now, the small bottle cost me $10, $9.99. The actual big bottle of Dark Origin is gonna run a pretty price tag of about $80. I'll tell you when I'll spend $80 on scotch. My birthday, Christmas, or when I close a really good account. So until then, we're gonna spend $10 on this little bottle of Dark Origin. Highland Park Magnus, I give 4 stars. 5 being the best. This one gets 4. Dark Origins, I give. If it had just a little bit more smoke, I can appreciate the alcohol volume, but they should have peated that bitch down. I give it a shit. I guess I give it 4 stars as well. This is a whiskey wonder. I guess you guys should celebrate your independence or whatnot. Be safe. Drink slow. Smoke well.